Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 57 of Hard Knock Hawks. I'm Anthony. I'm here with Chris, Marco, and Blake. Today, we were originally going to be talking about the last four games where they won two games after having a really tough few weeks. But breaking news happened. Trae Young was traded to the Washington Wizards for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. No picks from either team were traded. It's just a simple swap of players. This was developing for the past week with reports from Shams, Jake Fisher, Brett Siegel, before it finally coalesced into a trade that was announced during the Hawks Pelicans game that happened today. As we are recording this, well, we're recording this like after the game happened. Uh, there's a lot of thoughts about this as during like the past few hours since it's been a lot for this fan base because Trae was literally basically the franchise. So it's sad to just see someone like him go, despite your opinion on him. Trae's gonna be leaving third in points per game as a Hawk, first in assists per game, first in playoff points per game, and first in playoff assists per game. He's the only Hawk who led his team to a win in the Eastern Conference Finals as well. He won third team All NBA, and he's a four-time All Star as a Hawk. So I'm gonna go around the room and just get everyone's individual thoughts on the trade before we talk about anything else and their thoughts about Trae Young. And we're gonna start with you, Blake, because it's been a minute since you've been on the podcast.
So, general thoughts about the trade. DeJounte Murray ended up having a higher trade value than Trae Young. That's where we're at. That's pretty much sums up the Hawks as a franchise. I, I think CJ and Kispert, I think they fit what Quinn wants to do. You know, he mentioned many times he wants to get up 43s a game. And they're going to shoot the rock. So I think they fit with what Quinn wants to do. He's wanting to get up and down the floor strictly on offense. I don't know if Quinn and the front office are different on what they want to build, because it kind of seems like Quinn wants to focus on offense, but the front office wants to establish a defense. So, I mean, CJ and Kispert, they're not going to be great on defense. They give you effort out there, but they're not going to be game changers on the defensive end of the floor. They're going to be your offensive gurus. So, I mean, CJ is an expiring contract. So, I guess with getting off of Trae's money and that player option next year, I guess free up the money and see what you can do building around Jalen. I think Kispert will be your backup wing. So I think that kind of helps with that situation of only having Zach as your sole wing. But none of it matters if you don't get a center, which is something that is a major issue. You have no paint defense. So, I don't know. We shall see. But, I, I don't know if CJ is going to start. Honestly, I think he'll come off the bench. So I don't know how he'll take that. But, I mean, there's no reason not to start Nikhil and Dyson together. But, I think that also gives Quinn some freedom with the lineups, because I think with CJ now that kind of pushes out the idea of Luke or Keaton when all three of them are available. So I think that you could try and stagger to where you have at least one of Dyson or Nikhil on the floor at all times, which with your paint defense, because I mean, it's no joke. If once teams get past the 3-point line, it's a free point. So I think trying to stagger both of them and help your perimeter defense as much as you can, I think that's what they need to do. Will they do it? We don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Trae, thank you. Not, thankfully we didn't have to attach a pick to get off of him. So that was something that I was really worried about, was having to send a first round pick to Washington. But no picks either way are better than sending a pick. So it is what it is, man.
All right. Let's go to you, Marco.
I lost my I lost my BMW and they left me with a Honda Civic. Um, hey
Man,
man, shout out Trae, man. You did what you did for 7 years. I remember the day you got drafted. I was in high school when he got. Well, I was graduating when he got drafted. So I'm pretty sure I got that right. I don't know my timeline too much.
it was
Uh,
2018, so I don't know when
yeah, I
you got
was.
cracked.
Yeah, I was graduating around that time. So
Dude, that's why 8 years.
yeah,
Eight
Yeah.
that's
years of Trae.
8 years of trade, man, and it's I've bought in every jersey of you. You know, it's kind of crazy. You're the only Hawks person besides Jalen I've bought. So that's kind of stings a little bit. Still processing the emotions. I got a bottle of Stella Rosa Black in the kitchen, so we'll hit that up after this. Really process my emotions.
I thought you were gonna show that off.
Now I don't want I don't want
uh,
to promote alcohol usage
oh
on our podcast.
man,
But yeah, man. Shout out Trae. You did what you did. You were the face of the franchise, and hate that it ended like this. Owners being cheap. That's part of the reason you left. I'm gonna be honest about it. I don't. Y'all can say all y'all want about it. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like we shouldn't have did it right now. I feel like there's something that could have been mended in the off season. There's been multiple situations like this where this shit ends up mended in the off season because they just really need to sit down and talk. And you can't really sit down and talk during a season that you're trying to save, where you're not too far out. Well, that nigga's over there promote drugs. So, you know, and things like that. So, as for the return, I mean, is the best you were gonna get for him, I guess. When you look at, if you try to compare it to the Luca trade too, Luke, they really didn't get high value off of Luca either. They got AD with 1 first, so I mean that's better than what we got. But it's still in the hindsight of it. What Luca was, that's still not the best return I feel like they could have got for Luca, and that's not the best return you could have got for Trey either. But Corey Kispert, he's a shooter. He hustles. He plays like he gives a damn. So that's needed. He doesn't really play defense too much. He at least tries, I guess. CJ's averaging like 18, 5, and 4 on like 40, 48, no, 50, like 50, 47, 82 splits at 34. So that's still a productive guy. In my opinion, he shouldn't start. The bench needs him more than a starting five. Um, and all that good jazz. So, hey man, again, shout out Trey. Hate to end it this way, but here we are, man. Go ahead, Chris. Take it away from me.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a lot over the last few weeks. I'm just glad all this is finally over. We can move on to something else to talk about, really. That'll be fun. I'm ready for that. Um, I think Trey was. It's funny when you're reading his accolades, and then I think about how much people hate him and wanted him gone. Um, and it just makes me laugh how this fan base can be. Um, but yeah, the Hawks didn't properly build around Trey. Can litigate whether or not he should be here for the future or not. But the team wasn't built for him to really win the last few years, and they had some injuries that really made that even tougher. And then moving forward, you got to give him a lot of money, and he was unwilling to take the deal that the Hawks were offering, and which is well within his rights. He deserves whatever he thinks he's worth and whatever he can negotiate. Your value is what someone's willing to pay you. And if he can get the deal he wants in Washington, I think they have an interesting situation going on. But for the Hawks, they had to move on. Obviously, you wish you could get more, but giving the ability for Trey to opt out, they really kind of control their future in the next year or so. So the Hawks didn't have leverage and had to move on. You can respect Ansi for making that call. It's not easy to do that. Making a trade for the franchise uh, star favorite player for so long for so many people isn't easy. So I think he's definitely got some goodwill to regain with a certain segment of the fan base. Some people are willing to sing his praises already. They love the move and couldn't wait for it. So yeah, we'll see what the Hawks do from here. Right, when you make a trade like this, it really is all about what comes next. For me, it's just disappointing to see the Hawks once again not fully flesh out a vision. I didn't think they completed what they needed to do in the offseason to really compete once again and get all the pieces they needed. Jalen Johnson's ascension and that pick looking so good gives them an out, and they took it the first chance they got. Talk about them being opportunistic. This isn't exactly the opportunistic play I was expecting, but it is what it is. Sounds like they're looking, optionality. Well, when you're looking to bring in AD that does eat up a lot of the money that you thought you were saving, depending on who goes out in that deal. If AD comes back and you don't send out any or you send out your expiring money, right? And KP and Luke will now. You only have CJ expiring, so that's 30, and then Dyson's new contract kicks in next year, which is like going to eat up like half of that 30, and you got some draft picks. So that's most of that space. So actually, Corey Kispert's like a multi-year deal. So the optionality isn't quite there yet, but we don't know what the vision is for sure. I'm just interested to see what's next. And deals like this, I just you don't want to have a emotional reaction and jump the gun. So we'll evaluate what comes next from the Hawks, right? Because they got to make a play if they want to be good. The Spurs own their picks, so you need to be in the playoffs. So we'll see what they do to right the ship and get into the offs.
My thoughts on Trae as probably the main guy who's one of the main guys on this podcast that at this point was probably like Trae is that I think Trae, in my opinion, for like what he did like during 2021 made him the best Atlanta Hawk of all time, because even with Dominique Wilkins, right? Like what I saw from him was just so like incredible to me, and I never seen like a Hawks player ever really do that in my lifetime. And I honestly thought like when I just saw that playoff run, it was just gonna be the beginning of something, and it was just so disappointing to see how the Hawks front office during his prime just basically kind of just wasted away with like a bunch of his decisions before and now after. Like during that run, basically, because that's really just going to be the main thing we're going to be talking about. It's the only real big success story of that run, and basically Trae getting all NBA for the most part. I think everyone can agree here that the Hawks made like really bad decisions. Like literally a year after Trae got drafted, they traded up for DeAndre Hunter. That was bad.
Can we name a good decision the Hawks have made?
They traded for. I mean, this is what when they decided.
Kevin trade was good. They got a pick eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they decided to go in for the Eastern Conference Finals, they traded for like a bunch of good players, and like Bogey, Gallo, Clint. They were great. The problem is that they decided afterwards that they had to just stick with them for like the next few years instead of trying to, move on to like a more youthful movement, and plus sticking with Nate McMillan. And then you had DeJounte Murray come in, and to be fair, a little of that is on Trae, who probably wanted DeJounte, as people know. So it's like, okay, we just basically wasted Trae's athletic prime for basically nothing. And it's just such a shame, because when he was going, he was so good, man. Like, it's really such a disappointment how it just ended up like this, because the way the league is now, Trae was drafted during an era, and it's weird how I'm talking about eras like this, but 8 years is a long time. Like, Trae was drafted during a time where small ball was really, really prevalent. Like teams were still trying to chase how the Warriors were playing it. You see it with the Houston Rockets. I mean, the Clippers famously, I think, won a playoff series against the Quinn Snyder Jazz, literally playing this because Terrence Mann basically dominated a game doing that. So they were clearly trying to just copy that formula with players like DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, and it just failed. And unfortunately, it just kind of affected them in a way that they probably weren't really able to recover in. And by the time they were able to substantially recover, it was just too late. Trae was not as athletic as he was, and the league just started moving on to bigger players, more physicality. Trae's defense got worse. He's not as efficient now. So, and they started valuing guards like Trae less. So it's the reason why Trae's value was so low today, and it's just really, really disappointing, right?
One thing I will say,
yeah,
because it is really disappointing, I just wanted to run through like the timeline of like
you can go ahead and do that.
Seasons, right? If you're at the ECF, Trae gets hurt in the ECF finals. The next season, Clint, I believe, gets hurt in the play-in. Yeah. And then you get thumped by Miami.
Yeah.
And then you add DJ.
Yeah.
You don't do anything else. John got hurt that season, right?
And also with that,
John got hurt the Miami year.
Yeah, he got hurt in the Miami year.
Okay,
he came back.
Also,
he came back.
Was the next season the year he couldn't shoot then?
Yeah, I think so. It was the last
year.
Yes.
John was recovering from that.
And they should have kept DeLon Wright, which is honestly
Nate
crazy.
Didn't like DeLon Wright. Nate hated him.
It's stupid because it's like point of attacks defense was one of the biggest issues with this team for years, and it never got solved until
they stuck themselves in the middle. They got there because their offense was crazy and they had a good back line, but then they just never had as good an offense because they got rid of the shooting, and then they never had a great defense because they just kept these mid-sized players and that were regressing. The Clint injury, and I think he hurt his heel. He just slowly regressed. John got hurt, right?
I think it was his calf.
DJ's year, and then the year after that, they had Sadiq or Jalen got hurt.
Yeah.
After
Sadiq tore his ACL.
Bey at the 4, and Sadiq Bey tore his ACL. Onyeka got hurt that season also. Onyeka got hurt the season. Jalen Onyeka got hurt. No. Jalen Onyeka got hurt that season.
Yeah.
And
I think so. I got to check. Hold on.
The next year, Trae got hurt. And Jalen. Okay. Onyeka didn't get hurt that year. Onyeka and Traylon and Jay got hurt. They got hurt the next season. And then Trae came back in the play-in. So it was just injuries and injuries and injuries at the end.
We were always a man
of
short.
4-5 seasons in a row that were just and the Hawks didn't have the overwhelming firepower depth, just lose a guy and then plug another guy in because they were missing on draft picks throughout this entire time. They would get a little contribution, and it's just so crazy how it just all fell apart. And then
we had draft picks and then we dumped them for DJ, but
yeah, that's hitting now, which is why I think they're making that desperation AD trade. But sorry, and I was just the timeline is just very.
You're good. It's for one thing, I don't think they're gonna make an AD trade. I don't think it makes sense because when Porzingis is playing, the team is good. Their defense is fine. That's not a problem. It's the offense. And I think when you make a trade like this, targeting CJ McCollum, Corey Kispert, they're clearly focusing on the offense. That's why they needed more of that offensive punch, right? And it's interesting to look at the stats, right? I should have said targeted trade because Trae wanted to be here, but ideally, you want to get someone like CJ McCollum because you look at the stats for the on-off stats for like Washington, CJ McCollum's their most impactful player. Like that's big. And he helps their offense a lot for the team. And then Corey Kispert, Quinn loves his white shooters. Like he's gonna like get him up and get those threes up. I don't know where V. Krejci is gonna be in the lineup at this point. I think he's obviously earned a role in that lineup, but it's gonna be weird. It's just, is Luke Kennard gonna play? You guys think? Because I don't know, he may be the first guy to go.
They trade for AD. Luke gone, baby. You getting beat and Corey Kispert.
I just don't think they're gonna trade for AD, man. It just doesn't make sense for me.
If they got to do it quick, because I don't think they can. If they bring Kispert in, they can't trade him this year. So it's got. I mean, they've got to expand it to a 3-team if they are going to do it.
I mean, if they were gonna expand it, we would have known by now. To be fair.
Oh yeah, no. To me, honestly, I think there is a possibility they trade for AD because Tony Ressler is the owner, and I think Trae's gone. He's still going to find a way to sell tickets. He's still going to find a way to sell jerseys. He don't. I mean, it doesn't matter. As long as he's under the tax, it don't matter what that cap sheet says. If it's under the tax,
is number 3 available in Atlanta?
3
number. They about to be selling a bunch of 3s.
Actually, I think so. Yeah, it is available.
They about to be selling it. Now, it would be crazy if the Raptors did the funniest thing ever again and just absolutely cut the Hawks for like the 3rd, 4th year in a row. Because if the Raptors actually brought in AD with like the group that with Scotty,
that would be crazy.
And
that would
CMB,
be really good. They would really
actually put together a ridiculous squad.
You gotta blow that shit up at that point, man.
Their defense would be crazy. But yeah, for the Hawks to do this, hopefully they already have whatever their subsequent move is, because you cannot let someone steal that at the final hour. So we'll see what happens. But you don't want to make a desperation trade, right? Because then you're overpaid and you didn't gain any picks today. So
that's the thing. The entire league knows we are desperate.
I mean, are we really desperate right now? Because I mean, I feel like the season is kind of in it. When something like this happens, the season always feels like it's over. It's not over, but feels like it's over mode.
We're in cruise control. We're just seeing what's
cruise control.
The shit is far from over, man. We're 18-21. We are literally 3 games out of 6.
We're gonna be in the play-in, man. Don't.
It's impossible to miss the play-in for.
We're gonna be in the play-in.
Reasonable team in the East.
We're not talking about 6 seed.
Pretty sure everybody out of the play-in is tanking.
Hey man, anything can happen. Remember the 21 season? We were 7 games.
Anything can happen. Yeah.
We were 7 games out, and next.
I'm just saying, most of those teams are actively trying to lose. There's only the Bucks is the only team, and Giannis could get them there. They're only 2 games behind. But I think some of these teams might be like the Bulls might tank. Like there honestly might be 5 tanking teams.
They might sit Giannis
by
if
the
they
end
get
of the
close.
month. Especially if they're talking about trading Kobe White like they are, then they're about to tank. So there's literally going to be like it's going to be free play to get into the playoffs or the play-in. You don't want to get embarrassed. And Tony wants to sell tickets, so. I don't put anything past the Hawks in the next few weeks.
I swear. One thing that people don't really mention, the Hawks had a window. That Eastern Conference final was your window. The year after was the year that you went back to the playoffs, made it past the first round, and just see what you could do. And then the following year, you had like a 2-year window after that you were really supposed to chase it. And if it didn't get done, then you try and find another way. But I get why they ran it back. I do. But at the same time, when you don't see it work, you had to upgrade at the deadline. Either that or just play it out, go to next year. Okay. Then you run it back a 3rd year. No.
They added,
Dre lost a knee. He was playing on one knee. Dude was getting cortisone shots like it was ibuprofen. I mean, Clint had one calf. He lost all physicality he had because he's a vet. You know, it's just what happens. That 2021 ECF run, Clint was the best defensive player in the entire playoffs. That man was yes. You had I mean, in the Hawks were, with Clint, they could rotate across the perimeter. Kevin was playing decent defense. Trae was doing whatever on defense, but he had Clint at that point. He had a real center. Cam was balling when he came back. Dre, before he got hurt in the Knicks series, he could play the perimeter. You had a somewhat legit defense. Your paint defense was fine. You weren't giving up 80 points in the paint a night. You had a window and you failed to
capitalize on
do anything about it. And I don't know, we all know Tony wants to, he ain't gonna pay because it's money. But at the same time, these good owners are going into the tax they're winning because those finals checks, those stack up. That's a lot of a bonus. They're getting paid when they win. So, I don't know. I'm hoping, because I mentioned it earlier, I'm hoping that Tony and Onsi don't see eye to eye as much as people think. Because I was talking about it, I think when it came out that Tony loved Trae, for me, I think that Tony loved Trae because he wanted to sell tickets. He wanted to sell jerseys. I don't know that he loved Trae to win. And I think Onsi was, when we had Landry Fields as a GM, he was follow order type of guy. So when Tony told him to do one thing, i.e. DJ trade, well, let's just send the farm for him. And then at that point, you had to make another deal to better that team because you had missing pieces, but you had literally nothing to trade. You had no trade, you had no picks because you threw them all at DJ. That didn't work. We're still recovering from that. The Dyson trade was a great get, but at the same time, can you even label that as a good trade because we set ourselves back 3 years?
Absolutely. I think Dyson trade's still good. That's
for Dyson, yes, but how we got there, absolutely not.
I agree with that 100%. I'm just saying Dyson trade was good.
Oh yeah, Dyson's
great. The DeJounte Murray trade, that trade was bad. I think literally I had hope it was gonna be good. Like I bought into the hype, but as soon as I saw it was just gonna be your turn, my turn, the infamous Houston Rockets game, literally, I can't believe I was literally 10 games into the season, man. That game happened. It was just this is a really bad sign. That's just kind of embarrassing.
I think part of that was coaching because if Quinn was a coach, that doesn't.
I don't know, man.
There is no way that happens.
No, it's just they just weren't focused.
The DJ trade that made it bad was the defense and the big part of it was the lack of depth.
We thought DJ was going to be
lack of size, and they didn't have any defensive depth they really needed to really juice that front court. Hunter had started to regress already. Clint was regressing. And that the year I think Jalen broke through was okay, right? They played Boston in the playoffs, but then the next year they just didn't have they didn't have the depth. And DJ and Trae don't have enough size up top. You need to have what the Cavs have behind their guards, and the Hawks didn't build their team that way. It's they just never fully committed to the build. It's always been disappointing for me because I feel like Trae just can juice your offense so much that there's a way to put defenders around him. without having to worry about it, especially after finding Jalen. I'm like, dude, you got those. Like, it's what the Thunder are doing. They had 2 guys that can score and then a bunch of dudes that can defend.
The front office thought it was the front or the backcourt that was an issue. His backcourt.
I mean,
it was.
That's all they keep touching. That's the thing that fries my brain, man. Like, they even brought another guard in today. I'm like, Kispert's a small forward, but he's 6'6", which is like not what we needed. Yeah. He's not like a wing stopper.
Well, so that was something with DJ. You didn't have a 2 guard like you've got with Dyson. You needed a kind of, Dyson's not a 3-and-D this year, but you needed a defensive guy at the 2 next to him that could score a little bit. But you literally had Trae, DeJounte, so it was playmaker, and then one-legged DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah. Honestly, if you had gotten Dyson back, like before, like and had DJ still a roster with maybe Dyson, John, and Clint, even though the bigs were it was bad luck and injuries and regression, but having Dyson as that like defender might have been interesting, and losing him or not getting him and having like Dre as your best defender on the perimeter, you didn't have that point of attack guy. Which just made it impossible to like really protect the rim for those years. It's just when the people say like it's impossible to build around Trae, it's frustrating because it's not like it's a complicated blueprint. You just get defenders, and I don't know that defenders are like some impossible thing to like identify.
We can't do that. Every other team with a small guard is allowed to do that, but us. We just
but us. Yeah.
I mean, it's not even just him. Like the Nuggets, I feel like broke through when they went out and got their defender to really cover up Jokic more on the back line, and it's a thing teams do.
Apparently, Hawks can't do that. Apparently, Trae was supposed to, have Niang hold his back and everything.
G-Wagon.
Yeah. When you're in, then some of the people like post the record the last like few years when literally the last 2 years the Hawks lost Jalen Johnson like halfway through the season, and they were not in a position to lose Jalen Johnson and be competitive. Like they didn't have anyone else.
They didn't have the depth.
Yeah, not even close, especially in the front court.
It's even crazier when you think about it. Like Trae, Jalen, and KP have only played 45 minutes together. Like Hawks ain't really give it. Granted, injury history happens. We didn't know what was really going on with KP because he said the second flare-up wasn't POTS. It was something else. Then Trae MCL and shit like that. Stuff happens, but, for like 20 or 45 minutes for your new big 3, that's insane. Like, I feel like, again, this is one of those situations I feel like if you would have took it into the offseason, because Trae wasn't opting out of that $48 million. No player is opting out of that unless they got some guaranteed bigger money coming towards them. They're not opting out of that. Yeah. So that's one of the things you could have taken to the offseason.
For Supermax.
There's definitely some aspects to this that I don't know if they'll ever truly come to the light, right? But in this type of negotiation, this move doesn't happen unless like they truly hit like an impasse and Trae's side either felt disrespected in some way or they just literally had a number already from someone else. And the Hawks went below a number that they know that they can get, right? And if you're negotiating, like everybody job hops, right? In this generation, if you're asking your current job for a raise, but you've already negotiated a higher salary somewhere else, and they say no, you gone. Like, and that probably ended the negotiations. I do think that if the number was closer to what they thought if they thought they could like come to an agreement, then I think you might have tested it out a little bit longer because I just don't think they actually really gave them enough games. Like, and Trae came back, he was recovering from a knee injury, didn't have KP, like, so that's tough, especially when KP is like a big key to your defense. Like if you're not playing KP and Mo like 24 plus minutes, I don't like know that I trust the defense against like a good team. One of the two. So not having KP in like any of those games was like just nasty work from like the universe. I don't even know how to put that.
Man, the cars literally were not falling.
That's crazy.
And
favor. You don't even really get to like even take a look at like the diet version of your big three for more than 42 minutes. But yeah, I think the contract.
What were you guys talking about? My internet died.
we're just talking about.
Sorry,
I was talking about how the contract, and the trade and all that. I feel like this was less about on the floor specifically, and it just came down to Trae and the Hawks reaching an impasse in the negotiations, and then Trae and them having an option, right? And they were like, if Trae and them have a contract negotiated with the Wizards, and he can just opt out in a few months, like or whatever, right? This is just going to get nasty over. You know what I'm saying? He had an option. They reached an impasse, and the Hawks made a decision. So,
see, I have a theory, and I don't know. Obviously, I'll never know if it's right, and it will never come. It will never come out. But I feel like Tony. You had one side. You had Tony in Trae's camp, and this side you had Anzi in the front office. And for me, I feel like Tony was wanting to throw him the bag. Wanted to keep him for the jersey sales and all that. And I'm not sure that Ansi, I don't think Ansi wanted the $48 million on the books for the efficiency that he was giving you. And to me, I feel like once that kind of came to light and there was a little bit of a riffraff here and there with the whole money thing, I think Trae's camp was just, pay us or we're gone. And I think Tony wanted to do that, but Ansi said no. So to me,
I was going to say, to be fair, like if the owner said to pay him, he would have done that. I mean, we've seen it with like John Collins. Like,
and that's another thing. Like, you threw the bag at JC. That didn't work out. You threw the bag at Hunter. You paid DeAndre Hunter $90 million. And honestly, that was a Tony move because that got done like 2 minutes left before the deadline.
I think Tony is fully hands off on the contracts at this point.
Yeah, I think
Tony. I don't think Tony is as present, but you got to look at it from like this way. Trae,
if it happened this way, Tony's off the contract.
I'm about to say you got to look at it with the recent extensions. Fox didn't really get that much. Fox got under his value. Brunson is playing on $36 million. Who's another? The Garland is playing on like 37, and it goes down.
Jalen Johnson is making less than Brunson.
And I'm about to say, like, it's just you got to look at it. Trae seen it like this. Trae was like, I done did everything y'all asked of me. I done took a step back. I sat through the retool. I know I fucked up on DeJounte. We tested it. We did our thing, but I still, took a step back for that to try to work. I gave it 2 years. I've been through multiple coaches. My name's been dragged through the mud every year since Lloyd left, even though Lloyd was the actual problem. I've been labeled a coach killer. I've been labeled a locker room cancer.
I'm going to say this about that. I think you are mostly right, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And there are reports that, to put bluntly, in like his first few years in the league, Trae was an asshole.
Okay.
I think people know that. I mean, you're right.
I mean, personally, I don't care.
I mean, you're right, but like, if you're not winning, and people
they were tanking
in those rooms, but still, but like, you're right, but like, if people hear that stuff, that thing is gonna like affect you, right?
Pull up the Hawks record right now. Pull up the Hawks record year by year. If you're listening to this too,
and
you can see when the tank ends. Okay. You can see when the tank ends, and then these last couple of years, people are like, the Hawks are under 500. Jalen Johnson played half the season. So your argument that Trae like regressed and the Hawks suck now is because they didn't have two power forwards on the roster for 2 full years, and Jalen got hurt twice. That is
Lloyd's first year was Trae's
most
first year,
of the
right?
reason the Hawks regressed is that.
Right?
Okay, so 29 and 53.
I don't care if Trae wasn't good with Lloyd Pierce. I'm sorry. I don't. Lloyd Pierce doesn't matter to me.
It's not just that, because I don't think Lloyd Pierce was a good coach either.
2 of the greatest basketball players of all time, in my opinion, assholes. You think all those guys are nice?
I know that. It's just that when you get a certain reputation, it's gonna be hard to mend that in the future. I think Trae has become a much. I mean, yeah, I know that, but it's just when you get. I think Trae has become like, obviously, you could tell, especially in this last game where it's like he's dapping up all the coaches stuff. He has become a much better teammate and stuff. But like,
I mean, he's happy. He's gone. He is free at
like
last. He is getting paid.
I think you can still see like some of that last. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
Anyways, like I said, Trae was probably going down the list, and from his point of view, like taking out fan emotions, whatever. From his point of view, that is very valid. I don't know what Trae probably asked for, but he definitely asked for more than what the Hawks wanted to give him, or he probably wanted more years than what the Hawks were willing to give him. And that from his side is valid. Shit, you asked him to do all this shit. You asked him to step up, be this leader. You asked him to step up and play less of Trae and play more into the system. You asked him to do this and that, the third. So it's very extremely valid for what he asked for. And the Hawks probably looked at it like this. They're like, Jalen Brunson is playing better than you in these last 3 years, and he's on $36 million. We're going by league value. We're going by historic facts on how short guards come out the league, blah, 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 this and that, the third. And Trae has had, three coaches in his tenure here and 3
technically
GMs.
4.
Yeah, 4 because Joe Prunty and and 4 different GMs.
Yes, he does.
He's already on the staff, man.
We love Joe Prunty.
Yeah, so
he was a head coach.
Said, 4 different GMs.
History.
4 different GMs too. So it's like each GM then told him something different. And now Onzi gets here, and Onzi's first year or earlier this summer, he was like, him and Trev talked, relationship is good, mended, we're going in with Trae, whatever. So something happened in that contract negotiation where everything just hit the fan. Like literally, that's all it probably was. If you probably, like Chris said earlier, if you probably got closer, if they were close on the number, they would have just took it to the offseason. And they would have been like, let's see how this plays out. If we win, we do a little decent, we'll give you your number. If we fall a little short, et cetera, you do our number. That's fair. But they had to be like 15 plus million off in order for Trae to be like, nah, I can just go to the Wizards.
I mean, some years do whatever. There's definitely
it could be anything.
I mean, I listen.
He is the only player in NBA history to say, I want to go to the Washington Wizards.
Yeah,
and he only doing that because of Cat. Bro, Trae can go to the Wizards and literally operate that whole team. They already have 3. They already have like 3 good young players. They'll have like $45 million to freely spend in this offseason.
They're in a position to let Trae do exactly what he wants to do.
He can bring in MPJ.
Oh, yeah.
He already got SAR.
Yeah.
They have a high draft pick if it stays top 8. They can get another, like the top 8 in this draft were very good. They get another guy. Bam. They go get one more guy to put next to Trae in them. Bam. That's it. They legit have a play-in team probably. It's not. They're
not that far off. They can get a really high pick in this draft. Like, not to make this like a Wizards pod for like a bit, but like
shit, we hard not
Wizards could be really high in this draft.
No.
The worst thing for the Hawks and like the funniest thing for me ever, because like I have a dark sense of humor, is for the Wizards to be higher than the Hawks in the draft and get DP or Debansa that everybody wants to like come in and like change this franchise. And that kid's up there with Trae and SAR. Man, if I wasn't dead inside, that would kill me on the inside.
I mean, it's okay. We're getting Cam Boozer. So, I mean, he's changing.
No, we are not.
That will actually destroy the rest of my soul.
I'm not starting that conversation on here. But, anyways, as it goes,
I might have to smoke another cigarette. We talking about Cam Boozer.
All I'm saying is, look, we're not getting on the Cam Boozer here. The Hawks, now, we're in a new era. We're in Mr. Walking triple-double himself, Jalen Johnson. We're in this era. Rich Paul has been vocal about what he wants for Jalen and what he wants out of Atlanta. Atlanta can't fuck around. I hate to be explicit more than we are on this pod, probably. Man, Atlanta can't fuck around because Rich Paul has been very vocal on he wants to get Jalen help in Atlanta. Meaning, y'all try to deny anything Rich Paul do in these next 2 years that doesn't really make, unless it's like super something outrageous, he will get Jalen out of Atlanta. He'll just go find a team and be like, hey,
That's why Trae changed agents. Half the reason.
Yeah, I got to walk in triple. I got to
get
walk
him
in
out of
triple
here
double
sooner.
Yeah.
And I'll add one thing. The funniest thing for me is that the Hawks need the exact same players around Jalen to win, because and that they needed to get around Trae. And part of what's concerning for me is that they weren't willing. They didn't have the sense of urgency or the know-how, the ability to go get those guys for Trae, and now I have to have faith that they're going to do it for Jalen. And Kenyon Martin always says, hope and faith. Work at the strip club down by the airport, man. Like, you can't rely on them. All right.
I mean, it's a good start. I mean, we have the Wizards' best player on the roster right now, so that's good.
That's still not a center, man. That's still,
like
That's not.
that's what
Yeah,
exactly.
we could draft. I think we have 2 picks in this draft coming up. I think we're gonna be good. I think it's way easier to build around Jalen than it's gonna be around Trae, right? I think, and besides, like with this season, it is gonna be easier.
Okay. Here's my question for you, right? Like,
okay, go ahead.
Something can be easy, but you still have to actually try to do it,
right?
To accomplish
I mean,
it.
You're right.
Like,
you're right.
It's not hard to tie your shoes, but if you just don't do it, they're not going to be tied, right? Like, things don't have to be hard for people to not accomplish them all the time. Like, it's easy to turn the lights out before I go to bed, and I fall asleep with them on all the time. Like, things are easy in life. That does not mean we accomplish.
I mean, we have said, okay, we said we need a 7-foot.
They got to do it
for years, and we literally have one that's coming off the bench right now.
But he
that's not available half the time.
He just doesn't play.
And there's a good chance that we could get another guy in the trade deadline.
And I want to trust Auntie, but he told me that they had no worries about KP's health, and there's some worries about KP's health now.
They said
you're right. That's fair
because they didn't know what was wrong.
We've been here before where I'm like, if I feel like the Hawks are headed in the right direction, I will be optimistic. But if I have no clue about what's coming up and like what the plan is, and like nothing really looks like it's making sense, I'm gonna be like this because I need to understand what comes next, and that they're actually going to implement and fully execute this plan, because I've seen this team make a move and it didn't work perfectly without okay. Most plans, right? I mean, multi-pronged, right? Plan, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. The Hawks execute step 1, maybe even step 2. And if it doesn't look like it's going perfectly, new plan. Let's rip that thing up. We're not going to get to 3 or 4 to actually see if the vision works, right? Okay, you're putting a puzzle together and you put together half the puzzle and it doesn't look like the box, and you just throw it off the table because it didn't satisfy you. Like, that's what the Hawks do consistently. They don't finish it, right? There's a bunch of people with unfinished Rubik's Cubes around. There is a way to finish that, by the way. There's a blueprint. There's an instruction manual. You can watch someone else finish it, right? There's copycats. You can execute a strategy. There's proof of concept elsewhere that you can find to finish, to motivate you to finish what you're implementing, and the Hawks just refuse to actually get there. So for me, as long as they get there this time and actually get there and execute it and get to the objective, then hey, I'm happy. But this team, bro, every year and a half, we're fire the GM. Let's try something new. We didn't win. We didn't start 20-10. We didn't start 30-10. Start over.
Yeah, just have a plan. Like, if you got Jalen on the cheap contract for 5 years, around that third year, if Jalen keeps producing how he's producing now, you're going to pay him. You can't shy away from that one. If he keeps producing like this, you got to pay him. You can't pull the excuses you pull with Trae. And just with that, you got to pay him. It's just what it is.
He's 6'9". You can't tell people that Jalen can't rebound and block some shots, bro. You can't bullshit. You can't BS the people when it's time to pay Jalen and restart again. This dude is gonna have the Hawks record in triple doubles. I know Trae has multiple Hawks records.
He already has the record, I think.
He's the leader, and so I'm saying this guy is gonna have the Hawks record in triple doubles when it's time to pay him. And you're gonna ask him to take a pay cut so that you can build around him too? Tony, when do we pay up? When do we pay up, Tony?
Eventually, Tony got to face the music, man. You got to you have to pay for somebody. You can't let every star walk. Let Horford walk. You try to throw a bag at a washed Dwight Howard. We're playing the same timeline. We're playing the same timeline.
Pattern recognition.
Tony, AD might be the next Dwight Howard.
Every summer they're gonna move one guy. They waited till the deadline last year to move some guys. They're gonna move that money around. I don't know if they're actually gonna keep building onto something and identifying the issue, fixing that issue, and completing it, right? This team, man.
It's just
what year did Tony purchase the Hawks?
I think 2014.
I want to say it was like 2015. Yeah, it was right before the 60-win season.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Okay.
It's just I want to see what they do during the trade deadline, but like I'm confident. I shouldn't say confident. I think Onzi has the right plan for this team. This team's really young.
Right plan, but we've only been linked to one center. Like, I don't want to hate Onzi at all because I
hope he had two plans, dog. Because I don't think this was the plan.
We don't have to get AD. We don't have to get AD. They could just
soon after we traded Trae, ESPN, Jake Fisher, Mark Stein, all of them came out and said the same exact thing. We are aggressively pursuing AD now. Why did we trade Trae? Because we didn't want to trade. We didn't want to pay Trae and Jalen all at the same time.
We have had like 3 or 4 plans since the ECF run. Like, that is how quickly they have been like changing shit up. And for me, like we're saying the word plan, right? If your plan was to trade Trae Young, it should not have been during the season. It should have been last summer when you knew what your max number was, right? You knew what your highest offer was going to be to Trae. You should have gave it to him then, so you had the best chance possible.
I mean, I don't think they expected Jalen to be this good.
They knew what they were getting with Jalen.
I don't think they did.
I don't think around Trae and Jalen. That's all I've talked about for the last 2 years.
Jalen
Johnson is.
And then they start winning.
A player with that talent is always going to take.
Jalen was averaging a double before he got hurt, man.
Yeah. I think it's that, and like Trae, I think maybe won like 50-something million.
We've already talked about the money, man. We know it. We know the relationship. That we know the.
I just hope that they weren't so reactionary that they saw like Trae come back on a bad knee and like need some time to get into the team and get the chemistry up and lose, and they're like, all right, let's trade him. That would be like a crazy series of events for me. I really just want to know how it came to happen. For me, I was prepared for this for a long time ago. So like the move itself is not what upsets me. It's just me not expecting them to actually commit to building around Jalen. And like this whole idea of trading Trae right now is supposed to be me trusting them to like execute this next vision. And I just do not have
the next
right
vision
now. Like
build around Jalen and the Pelicans pick. That's the vision.
We don't even know who that kid is or where the pick is going to be. Dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. We could have had Giannis
exactly. Oh my God, there's so many ways they could have went and had consistent players that score. Like even if you want to tell me that Trae is not the number 1 point guard in the NBA, he is good enough to help you win games offensively. Because Nuggets have not the best point guard. The Nuggets have a guy doing way less than Trae offensively to help Joker, and they were able to put a group around those two to compete. So if I have Jalen now doing this and Trae still doing what he's doing, even if you want to tell me he fell off a cliff, even though last season his true shooting percentage is the same, it's Tyrese Maxey and Kate Cunningham who broke out last season, but Trae was washed. he's still good enough to produce that you could have put a team around him and Jalen to compete, or him and whoever. Now, I really need Jalen Johnson to stay healthy now. I just want to end with that. But yeah, it's. I had a player that was good.
If you really
enough,
want to get upset, go check the group chat.
All I'm saying is, you trading for AD right now means you want to compete in some form of fashion in this 5-year Jalen window. Really now because we're in the first year of the 5.
If not, you can't.
You want to compete in some form of fashion. Now, Jalen and AD sound very good on paper, but the thing is, you're going to trade KP for AD, right? That's how that's going to work. That only because money only works. You're still back. It's like a game of Monopoly, man. You go around the board, you get a property, you go and sell a property to get the second piece. You still need a third piece to build a whole house on that.
Right, and it's going to be the same thing as when KP doesn't play. When AD's not available, we're going.
We don't have it. You still need to grab. Now, I'm not saying
exactly.
I'm not saying you can't go grab a third center and anything because it's a lot of cheap third center options out there. Goga doesn't play in Orlando. Jay Huff is doing a pretty good job in Indy. They just signed him. He's only on a $2.9 million contract. You want to expire it? Go get Robert Williams out of Portland. That's $13 million. You have a $13 million trade player exception that you got from Bogey. You need to start using these things if you're going to make that big trade for AD, because we're in the same position that you're in with KP. You need a third big. Now, I'm not hating on Onyeka at all. Onyeka's been playing out of his mind. He's not a rim protector. He's not your main rebounder. He's a help side defender.
He's not a center in general. He would be a very good 4.
He's a center. Blake, stop. He's a center. He's played.
He can be a 4 now.
He's
a center defense, bro. He'd be switching out on the perimeter, man.
He can play, but the thing is, he can be a.
Why y'all even say this?
He can be a 4 now. He can shoot. He can be. That was the main concern.
That shooting leap is
he's better as a 5.
He can shoot.
He's been okay.
But look at the minutes with OO next to KP.
I don't even think. I'm gonna look this. I don't even.
He plays power forward when KP is on the floor with him.
Yeah, with the shooting leap, he can play the 4, and that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to bring Robert Williams in because Jalen can play the 3 with his shot making ability this year. He can play the 3. The 3-point efficiency has been great. You could roll a lineup out there of, at times, it being Nikhil, Dyson, Jalen, OO, and Robert Williams. And if we're still giving up 130 points with that starting lineup, then we've got bigger issues than the roster. I mean, because Robert Williams, here's the thing. OO would be your new help side, weak side defender. Him and Jalen could interswitch. You've got your entire front court is defense heavy if Jalen plays defense. Minus OO, but
you're still back in another situation. Even outside of the center, Zach is still my only real wing on my roster right now.
We have Corey Kispert. We have Kispert.
All right, maybe.
Hey, we gonna play with that pace though.
He's a wing, like
pace. And
another wing that can't self-create, man.
The pace this year is 102.5. The pace the Eastern Conference Finals year, 97.6. It's the Eastern Conference Finals year. It was the lowest it's been since then. It's the lowest it's been in now 6 years.
They were getting good shots. Now they get a lot of shots. Hey,
Look, I don't think hate on Kispert. I'm not hating on Kispert at all. We're already at an hour, so I'm gonna try to cut this a little bit short. Kispert probably is a good player in a better system because I don't think he had a real role in Washington. They really were telling him to go out there, play like you want to play, whatever, just to go have fun. Because we don't know what we're doing either. So you go do what you want to do, and we'll kiss each other at the end of the day. So maybe, in this Quinn system, he will get a bunch of open shots. All I ask for him to hit his threes, and he's already better than Zach in that regard. That's all that matters.
All right. Let me just go to final thoughts. We're at the hour already. So, been a weird day. Trae's gone. I'm gonna go to Chris first. Go ahead.
Yeah, this was definitely an interesting day. I just wanted to listen in to the spaces, let everybody have their fun. Um, I don't really have it in me to argue with someone about whether or not the Hawks should have kept Trae. For me, it's just more about, setting the record straight in terms of like what they did um, while he was here and in the roster construction. And a lot of people try to blame Trae for like wanting player X to stay or like wanting, and the organization has to sell their players on their vision and be able to execute it. And I don't know if the Hawks built up that level of trust with Trae. I hope that they can do that with Jalen and that they commit to doing what they need to do to become a legitimate series contender. And if they do get AD, I really hope we win the lottery because we might need that.
Well, at some point, organizations have to save players from themselves because players are going to want player X, player Y. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they're going to work. I mean, players are going to play through injury because they want to be out there. Organizations they have to save their players at some point. And I think the front office needed to do that with Trae. And honestly, it started with, the DJ DJ pickup on paper was good, but there were questions. And I think that when Trae really wanted Clint to stay, when he wanted them to keep Clint after the injury and his slow decline until the injury, I think that was when you needed to take a step back and say, okay, this is what we're doing. This we know is not going to work because it physically isn't possible. So you got to go one direction to win instead of just trying to please your players to keep them there to sell jerseys and tickets. So I don't know.
All right. So I guess that's your final thoughts, Blake? Or
I mean, like I said, it's been a weird day. I mean, is what it is. There will be an article tomorrow that y'all can check out. It'll be about Trae and moving to Jalen. Be a short one, but pretty much a thank you to Trae and everything he's done. Hate that it had to end this way, but it is what it is. Operation 2031 when Jalen's off that contract and Tony's not going to pay the Supermax, and we're back to square one.
All right, Marco, what's your thoughts? Final thoughts?
Just have a plan. That's all I ask. Just have a real plan. Don't reset a plan. Don't do anything. Just if you got a plan, stick to it and just let it play out. Eventually that plan to come to an end, and that's when you figure out another plan. But don't come back with this 3-plan idea, route A, B, C. We don't need that again. You're committed to Jalen. Rich Paul is going to make sure you're committed to Jalen. So now we're on this window of this contract of, do we really want to compete or do we just want to do bullshit? So just have a plan. That's all I ask for. Go Hawks, just win.
My final thoughts are: first one, Ayeka's a center. Weird that people keep saying he's a 4. He's not. Second thought is, once again, I'm going to miss you, Trae. We made bad decisions that wasted your prime, but, it sucks to have to end like this. With that Pelicans pick and Jalen's ascension to stardom, I think he's probably going to be all-star this year. And, I don't know if I'm going to say I'm confident, but I think they have a good foundation to build upon in the future to where I could say, like, okay, they may have something here, and hopefully they can fix the offense, because the main issue is the offense. The offense is bad, even in the Pelicans game where we blew them out. they had multiple times where they just wasn't able to score a bucket. So they have to find some way to just be able to score consistently. And CJ McCollum, like I said, the Wizards' best player, and Corey Kispert should be able to help with that, hopefully. And hopefully we draft Cam Boozer. But with that, thank y'all so much for listening to Hard Knock Hawks, episode 57. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this podcast episode. And we will see you all next week or whenever when we record again. Have a good one.
Go Hawks.